Hello, everybody. Hope you're all doing well today. As you know, I'm Keri Fulmore with Intuitive Health Solutions, and today I wanted to introduce you to my good friend, Stella Hurtes. Hi, Stella.
Hello, Keri.
Stella is joining Intuitive Health Solutions, and we're really excited about what she's going to be bringing to Intuitive Health Solutions. Stella is our new animal communicator. And if you don't know what that is, Stella basically can connect with your animal. Doesn't matter if it's a horse or a dog or a cat. Stella can communicate with them to help you decipher what they might be wanting, what they might be trying to say by certain habits, even what kinds of health things might be going on in the body. She's able to pinpoint those things. And so Stella, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got into animal communication?
Yes. Okay. It's just, first of all, I just wanted to thank you so much for connecting and enabling me to work with you on your website. What brought me to animal communication is as a child, I didn't connect. I didn't have any support from adults and from human beings, I would say. So I tend to go very much in nature and connected with horses and dogs in my neighborhood. And when I was 7 years old, I got a dog, and that little dog saved my life because it opened a huge wide of emotions, especially, animals go on the sense of a different vibratory repertoire. And so we connect heart to heart, and there's no verbal exchange. So it really changed my life, and I think I was getting on much better with animals than human beings, and because of that, I didn't connect much with children, and then it reinforced my bond with animals. And then as I was growing up, I just started to travel to find a little bit who I was. And then after I went to I settled in a farm, on a farm, and I raised my two beautiful daughters, and got a lot of horses and dogs and cats. And I'm a passionate rider, so it helps to communicate with horses. So I know a little bit on both sides. And then I traveled again in South Africa, and then I discovered how connected I was to animals and nature. So when I came back to France, I decided I wanted to help. I wanted to be helping animals and people. And so I decided to qualify and to certify it. So I have been doing a few certifications. I'm certified from Animal Talk Africa, and I've followed a lot of mentoring. And then I started as well practicing shamanism. So I'm qualified as a shamanism practitioner, and I trained in Theta healing as well. So it helped me to have many tools to help the animals. And the first one is communication. So communication, how does it work? Is we communicate telepathically with animals. So as an animal communicator, I receive in senses, like I can have visions or smell or senses, or just knowing what the animals have to say. So it helps to, when people come to me, it helps to find out if they have a problem. If first of all, you can just check the well-being of an animal. You're sure you're doing the right thing. Does he like his food? Is he happy with you? That's of course, we don't have very often that kind of request, because people come to an animal communicator when they have behavioral problems. It's like there's a problem with an animal and we want to understand. What I want to say as well very much is I follow and I I follow the Penelope Smith's ethical book, where when I communicate, I really respect the privacy of the people and the animals, and I don't want to have the animal behaving the way the people want. I always respect and I treat the animals as equal as people. So it's very important to understand that we are here to interpret. We don't request a change of behavior in animal. We want to understand, we want to help them, and we want to help the humans to see their side, their point of view as well. So I think that's very important. What I want to say as well is, as an animal communicator, we can feel as well very often what the animal go through with a technique that's called body scanning, where you are able to see where your animal is in pain, or you can sometimes see things, but we are never here to prescribe or diagnose. So if your animal is sick, I advise people to go first to a veterinary and they check the health. And then after, we can go there, or we just can go before and saying, well, you know, he seems to complain on that and that, so please check with your vet. Very often as well, we are very helpful at the end of the life of an animal to know if they want help to transition, how do they feel now. Because sometimes an animal is very, like, for example, it cannot move anymore, but when we connect to them, they say, no, we are very happy. We see a bowl of food, we see a person, we are completely happy, even if the people have to carry them outside. And so it's difficult sometimes for people because they really struggle with the suffering, but sometimes animals don't suffer. So that's what we can ask.
That's beautiful. I know that I've used animal communication after the passing of my animals as well, where I really just needed to know that they were okay. And, you know, an animal communicator was so key in telling me things about, you know, my animal who had passed over, that I knew for sure they had connected with my, you know, best friend. And it really can help the grieving process too. Is that something that you also do?
Yes, exactly. In fact, I do quite a follow-up by preparing the people how to let go their loved ones, because it's very difficult when you know they're going to transition. So it's a kind of, you start beforehand very often about preparing people. Animals are very often very easy with that, because for them it's like a normal transition. For people, human beings, we make it much more difficult than it is for animals. So it helps in the grieving process by just saying, okay, your animal want that and that, and then after, when they are passed, it's like, okay, how did it go, how do they feel, and then do they have any message for the humans, for their person behind, because it's helping everybody when they feel like if an animal at the end of his life is ill or is very weak, very often they get some more freedom and they feel lighter. And the people as well, it helps when they need to help at the veterinary process to know if they do the right thing, if it's the timing. As an animal communicator, I will never say, okay, it's the timing for you to bring your animal to a vet to help him to transition. But we can have a feeling on, because the relationship with the person and his animal is a very precious one. So, but I will just say how the animal feels, and then it will help the person to decide if it's a good timing or no.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I know that, yeah, I've had a couple of tragic passings of animals too, where it wasn't necessarily their time. And so, you know, speaking with them on the other side brought a lot of closure. And, you know, when we're in like a grieving state, it can be hard to really, you know, hear, connect, see, you know, on the other side. So it can be really helpful to use the services of somebody like yourself. So,
Yeah, and it
uh,
is very true. Like, for example, it happened a few times where customers where I had the animals at tragic passing, And in fact, it helped to talk to the animals to how they felt about it, because very often it's sudden for them as well. And they are feeling sometimes very guilty of what wrong did I do? What did I do something wrong? And my human must be very, very sad. And could you tell him that I didn't do it in purpose? And then we kind of negotiate between the two as an interpreter, saying, well, I'm saying that and she's saying that. And then everybody say, oh, okay, so it's okay. And it helps to understand that there's a bigger picture in everything.
Absolutely. The other thing that I wanted to kind of just ask you is, if you could think of, one animal that you read for, maybe you could tell us a little bit about it and the experience it brought. I know that's kind of like a question from out of the blue here, but,
In fact,
just give us an example.
there was a break between your question for me. So could you please repeat the question?
Oh, okay. I was saying, maybe we would love to hear like, an example of a reading you've done that really hit your heart, or one that's really memorable for you, just so we can get an idea.
Yes, well, I've got so many that is going to be difficult to choose, but one animal that was euthanized because of this difficult situation. He had bitten a few people, and then people decided to euthanize him. And when I was asking him, he had passed, obviously, because he was euthanized. And when I asked him, how did he feel about it? He explained to me how he was seeing things before, how it was not possible for him to do otherwise. And it brought peace between the human who did it, who took that decision, and his understanding of how he was not able to do it differently. And he explained to me the reasons why he was doing it, which was very, very difficult for me as an animal communicator, because of course he was badly mistreated. So that was one. But one thing I can remember very well is I connected with a wild Mustang before, when they were just caught. And I had to explain to one of the beautiful black stallion what was going to happen to him, and that the human beings were believing that there were too many wild horses, and that's why it was happening to him. And I remember at the beginning, it was like, no, I'm not listening. No, I'm not interested. I'm not going to listen to you. That's nonsense. I want to go back, and I want to be wide, and it's terrible and everything. But I could slowly and surely see him listening a little bit and a little bit more. And then I was able to explain to him what was going to happen and what were his options in a positive way, about seeing things differently and preparing him to what was going to happen. And I thought there was nothing to gain from human being here, but just on his side, just being on his side and not being able to change a bigger picture. I can't save all the Mustangs that are caught, but being able to just explain to him what was going to happen, to be on his side.
That's beautiful. Did he respond after that?
We do, because we work as volunteers, so we explain to them, and yes, he was listening, and I was explaining as well to him that he was going to have a saddle on him, and that's how going to happen, and if he was positive, then he could find a nice family, and he was more settled after. Yeah, it was a beautiful horse, and my heart was for him. And as well, I work a lot for rescue, and when we work on rescue, we explain to them why they are at the rescue center. Do they know they are here for adoption? And what is adoption? What kind of family they want? So it's nice for me to work on that. And then I as well have a lot of reading for animal transitioning. That's something I'm very, because the end, we have to understand that it takes a long time to be born, but it takes a long time to die as well. And if we can follow up with our loved ones and be prepared to let them go, it's a beautiful experience.
That sounds so beautiful. So thanks, Stella. I think you gave a really wonderful explanation of animal communication. And if anybody would like a reading from Stella, you can find her on the website, www.intuitivehealthsolutions.com. And under the services tab, you'll see Stella Animal Communicator. So if you would like an animal communication, or you've been thinking about one, you want to try it out, be sure to check Stella out. She's incredible.
Okay, thank you very much, Keri.
Yeah, thanks for joining us, Stella. And we'll be back sending you some more updates and videos soon.
Thank you.
All right, thanks for joining, everybody.